All right, so picture this. You're in a totally new city, map in hand, and you are lost.
Oh.
It's a little frustrating, right? But isn't there also kind of a hint of excitement there? Like you're about to stumble onto some unexpected adventure?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
That's what we're diving into today. Those handy phrases that can help you navigate new places. And do it with confidence, whether you're a seasoned traveler or just exploring a new part of town. We're actually taking a cue from a language learning podcast for this one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a fun twist.
Yeah, for sure.
It is interesting, isn't it? Even with GPS and maps right there on our phones, there's something uniquely human about just stopping and asking someone for directions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a chance to connect with people who live there, get a real feel for the place you're visiting.
Totally. And this podcast really hit on something that I think is so important, politeness. It's not just about the words themselves, but how you approach someone. I bet you have some thoughts on this.
Oh, absolutely. Think
Yeah.
about it. A friendly smile,
Mhm.
genuine eye contact, those little nonverbal cues, they can go a long way in building rapport before you even say a word.
Right.
It shows you're approaching someone with respect. You're not just demanding information.
It's like you're saying, hey, I'm in your world and I need a little help.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this one time I was in Prague, utterly lost in those winding streets.
Mm-hmm.
But when I finally stopped someone, I made sure to smile and be super polite.
Yeah.
It totally changed the interaction. They gave me directions, but they also recommended this amazing little cafe nearby.
Exactly. Those small interactions can really turn what could be a stressful moment into a really positive experience.
Yeah.
And speaking of starting the conversation, the podcast gives some great examples of how to do just that.
Oh.
Like, excuse me, do you have a moment?
Yeah.
Simple, but it shows respect for the person's time.
Right. It's not like you're launching into a 20-minute interrogation.
Exactly. So I'm curious, though, what did you think about the different phrases they suggested for actually asking for directions? Like, can you tell me how to get to versus can you point me in the right direction? Do you think those nuances really matter?
Oh, they absolutely do. It all comes down to the level of detail that you need. If you just need a general sense of where to go, point me in the right direction, is perfect. But how to get to implies you're looking for more specific instructions. Maybe even turn-by-turn directions.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about it that way. And then they had this tip about using nearby, like saying something like, is there anything nearby that can help me get to? Have you ever tried that?
It's a really useful strategy, especially when you're not sure of the exact name or address of the place you're looking for.
Okay.
You're basically gathering information and getting your bearings.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the person doesn't know the specific place, they might be able to point you towards a landmark or a district that'll get you closer to your destination.
Okay, now that we've covered starting the conversation, let's move on to actually understanding the directions. They go over the basics. Left, right, straight blocks, traffic lights. Seems pretty straightforward, but I'm guessing it can get tricky sometimes.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Sometimes even simple terms can be tricky depending on where you are. Like the podcast mentioned blocks,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be really subjective. Think about it in a grid system city like New York. A block is a very specific distance.
You're right.
But in a more winding European city, blocks could be all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
I once spent way too long wandering around a Spanish town because I just assumed a block was the same everywhere.
Oh, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Speaking of misinterpreting directions, I remember this one time I was in London and someone told me to take the second left.
Okay.
Well, I diligently counted 2 left turns, only to realize much later that I had completely missed this tiny alleyway.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been the actual second left.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It highlights something so important. You need to ask for clarification if you're not sure about something.
For sure.
It's so much better to just ask than to wander around aimlessly pretending you understood when you really didn't. And this is where landmarks become super helpful, which the podcast also points out.
Absolutely.
Yes. They gave some great examples like supermarkets, shopping malls, or even a prominent statue. It's funny. Imagine you're trying to find that elusive Wi-Fi cafe, and someone says, it's just past the giant metal spider sculpture.
Oh, yeah.
You'd probably remember that, right?
Absolutely. Landmarks provide these visual references that instantly make directions more comprehensible.
Uh-huh.
It transforms these abstract instructions into a tangible route, making the journey less daunting.
And you can even use landmarks to kind of double check your understanding, right? You could say, is it near the landmark?
Yep.
Just to make sure you're on the right track.
That's a great tip. It shows that you're actively engaged in the process of getting where you need to go.
Okay, so we've talked about starting the conversation, asking for directions, and understanding what they're telling us. But what happens when you just don't understand something? I mean, it happens to all of us, right?
Oh, of course, especially in a new place. What's important is that you don't let that fear of not understanding stop you from asking for help in the first place.
Right. Like it's better to admit you didn't catch something than to wander around lost and confused. What are some good ways to ask someone to repeat themselves
Yeah.
without sounding rude or impatient?
Well, the podcast had some good suggestions. Phrases like, sorry, could you say that again? Or, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat the last part? Work really well.
Those are good.
Yeah.
I like how they acknowledge that you didn't understand, but you're asking politely for them to clarify. It kind of takes the pressure off too. Like it's
Yeah.
not their fault you didn't understand.
Exactly. And sometimes you might need to be even more specific, like, could you repeat that part about the landmark? That way they know exactly what you need help with.
Oh, I'm definitely guilty of pretending to understand directions when I really didn't. I remember this one time I was in Marrakech in this bustling marketplace, and I just nodded along to this flurry of directions, but in reality, I had absolutely no idea where I was going. I ended up walking in circles for ages before finally swallowing my pride and asking someone else.
It's a classic travel tale, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just proves that clarity is key. It's not about saving face, it's about getting where you need to go. And speaking of helpful phrases, the podcast brought up this interesting go past trick. Did that stand out to you?
It did. They gave examples like go past the supermarket or go past the park. I mean, it seems simple enough. But what makes this so effective?
Go past is great because it eliminates ambiguity, especially on streets with multiple turnoffs. It gives you a very clear point of reference.
Mhm.
It tells you to continue walking beyond that landmark, which helps avoid confusion about where exactly to turn.
It's like a little navigational beacon guiding you along the way. I think I'm going to challenge myself to use go past the next time I give someone directions.
I think you'll find it makes a big difference. It adds a level of precision that can be really helpful. So we've talked about specific phrases, but the podcast also made this bigger point about the overall approach to asking for directions. It's not just about memorizing a few words, right?
Right. It's about being confident, being polite, and not being afraid to ask for clarification. It seems like it's more about a mindset than anything else. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Confidence comes from knowing that it's okay to be lost, that asking for help is a normal part of traveling and exploring a new place. And politeness, like we talked about earlier, shows respect for the people who live there.
Yeah.
Being willing to clarify ensures you both understand each other. It really is a combination of those things.
Now, this brings us to a really interesting question that the podcast raised. In a world full of GPS and navigation apps, do you think we even need these basic wayfinding skills anymore? I mean, I use my phone all the time to get around.
It's a valid question, especially now that we have technology that can tell us exactly where to go.
Hmm.
But here's what's fascinating. Even though technology has definitely made navigation easier, there are actual cognitive benefits to learning how to navigate without it.
Really? Like our brains actually get a workout when we have to figure things out ourselves.
Exactly. When we rely on our own sense of direction, we engage our spatial reasoning, our ability to observe and interpret our surroundings. We have to pay attention to landmarks, street signs, and even the direction of the sun.
That makes sense. It's like our brains are building a mental map of the place we're in. Plus, what happens if your phone battery dies or you lose signal? I've definitely been in that situation before, and it's not fun.
That's a great point. Being able to rely on your own sense of direction gives you a sense of self-reliance, a deeper connection to the places you visit.
I like that. It's like you're not just passively following a blue dot on a screen, you're actually present in the environment. And let's not forget the unexpected encounters you might have when you ask someone for directions. You could discover a hidden gem you wouldn't have found otherwise.
Absolutely. Those serendipitous moments are what make travel so memorable.
So it seems like even though GPS is a great tool, there's still something valuable about learning how to ask for directions and engaging with the world around us. It's about finding that balance, right?
It's about balancing the efficiency of technology with the adventure of potentially getting lost and discovering something new.
Well said. This deep dive has been a fascinating exploration of the nuances of asking for directions. I think it's reminded me that getting lost isn't always a bad thing.
I agree. Sometimes getting lost can lead you to the most interesting places and experiences.
So for all of you listening, think about a time you were lost. What could you have done differently using the tips we've talked about today? It can be an opportunity to learn, connect, and maybe even discover something new about yourself.
It's about embracing the journey, not just the destination.
I love that. And speaking of embracing the journey, we've got a little something to help you along the way.
Uh,
We've put together a downloadable document with all the key phrases from this episode.
nice.
You can find it in the show notes, so be sure to grab a copy before your next adventure.
And as always, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
We're always up for a good travel story. So tell us, have you ever gotten hilariously lost while traveling? What happened?
We might even feature some of your stories in a future episode. But in the meantime, we hope this deep dive has given you a fresh perspective on the art of asking for directions.
Safe travels, everyone.
Happy exploring.